of you have taken any type of medication in the past. Around 66% of all adults in the US use prescription drugs. So if that statistic is applied to this class, 20 students would have said yes. These prescriptions can range from a simple drug treating a cold to a severe case of treating cancer. In my case, my prescriptions help me live with diabetes. I have a very long list of all my prescriptions I need in order for me to live, but with the long list comes a large check. For 3 of my medical devices, it's usually around $60 after insurance for every month, but without insurance, it would cost $1,000. Now, that's just for 3 of my medical devices. I have 2 types of devices, 2 types of emergency insulin, glucose tabs, and a glucose monitoring kit, which needs alcohol pads, needles, and blood test strips. With 3 of my medical devices being that much money, imagine how much 10 more items would be. That's why today I'm here to persuade you that the pharmaceutical industry should lower their prices on drugs. To fully understand this issue, we must look at the problems, investigate the causes, and finally, I will provide you with unique solutions. Let's jump into the problem. How many people in the US are dying from not being able to afford their medication. Due to the rising inflation happening in the US, there have been studies done showing that many people use coupons to afford their medication and have asked their physician for a lower cost medication. While many of these studies have focused on older people, it doesn't mean that younger people don't have the same exact problem. The most common chronic diseases in use are allergies, developmental illnesses, diabetes, and cancer. And while allergy medication tends to range on the cheaper side, a lot of people forget about the lifestyle changes people have to make, like paying for therapy and changes in diet. When medications cost a lot, we can see a lot of people prioritize what they really need in life. Things like gas and groceries could be cut out of someone's life in order to get their medication if they don't want to go into debt. Ultimately, when we see people have a hard time paying for their medication, we can assume that it can lead to further health complications or, sadly, death. According to the NBC News on May 18, 2023, a study published by JAMA Network Open found that 1 in 5 adults ages 65 and up either skipped, delayed, took less medication than was prescribed, or took someone else's medication last year because of current concerns of costs. The reason why this matters is because from Gallup News on November 12, 2019, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimated that about 2.8 million have died in 2017 in the US from people reporting knowledge of a death under knowing that the person couldn't pay for their medical treatment. With inflation being a big topic in the past few years, we have seen healthcare prices also go up. The increase can be blamed on new technology and labor shortages in healthcare. While having new technology is good, making prices so high makes people not want to get help. With people not being able to afford treatment, the need for new technology decreases. Companies that are making these drugs say that it sparks innovation, but the ability to charge such high prices slows down the innovation because there's a greater chance of failure. This can also be said for the labor shortages happening in healthcare professions. If prescription drugs keep on increasing, this threatens the healthcare budgets and limits how much funding is actually available. According to the LA Times, on March 29th, 2023, hospitals are pressing for higher payments as their long-term contracts with medical insurers come up for renewal. This is important to know because according to USA Today on February 4th, 2024, the federal government is allowed to negotiate drug prices for Medicare enrollees. New prices for certain drugs will be made public on September 1st and will take effect in January 2026. With people calling out the high prices of healthcare, many laws like these ones are finally going into effect. Now that we've looked at the problem, let's explore the causes. As I briefly mentioned in the second problem, with healthcare prices going up, this is due to drug makers setting the prices so high. There are many people like pharmaceutical companies, health insurance, and the government that are setting these prices so high due to manufacturing costs, market competition, and patient demand. Although these reasons can be deemed as understandable, the aim for maximizing profits have turned into profiting at the expenses of patients. With prices that keep on increasing, we have seen that the medical bills are also the single biggest debt collection item and factor in personal bankruptcies. According According to Forbes on June 1st, 2023, the Journal of the American Medical Association, researchers didn't find a correlation between research and development investments and log-derived treatment costs. The reason why this matters is because according to the US News on December 12th, 2016, in Europe, in chronic leukemia, the 8 to 10 year survival rate is 80%, while in the US, the 5-year survival rate is 60% due to the cost of drugs. Another reason why medication prices are so high is because many people are taking drugs that aren't meant for them. In the past year, we have seen a popular surge of people taking Ozempic for weight loss. Ozempic is made for type 2 diabetics to help regulate their blood sugar, but has been found to be effective in weight loss. Due to this result, the drug has been in greater demand. With people wanting to try this drug, as it resulted in drug makers increasing the price to make money on people's addictions. Feeding into addiction is one thing, but making a drug that helps someone's life more expensive for them just because of a trend is morally wrong. According to the CBS News on January 18th, 2024, the price of Ozempic increases the list price of some medicines each year in response to changes in the healthcare system, market condition, and impact on inflation. This is important to know because this puts in perspective on how much the healthcare system doesn't really care for their patients, and the pharmaceutical industry abuses their power to rip off America. So now that we've looked at the problems and the causes, let me provide you with some unique solutions. One solution that could help lower prices in medication is to put a cap price on these drugs. The United States allows drugs to be priced at high levels regardless of the value that the medication provides. So with putting a cap price on these drugs, it stops these pharmaceutical companies from being able to increase these prices year by year. The next solution that could help lower prices of medication is nonprofit generic manufacturing. Nonprofit pharmaceutical companies don't usually attract shareholders that are looking for high profits. So this allows them to focus on developing lower costing drugs with the help of donations for a good common cause. Today, I try to persuade you that the pharmaceutical industry should lower their prices on drugs. We looked at the problems, the causes, and I provided you with some unique solutions. So hopefully next time, when you are planning on getting medication, buy the generic brand, because the companies don't spend their money on advertising and they don't require the multiple stages of studies to prove their safety and effectiveness like the other drug companies have to do. Another thing to think about is when you are voting, look at how the candidates plan on lowering the cost of medications. Remember, lowering prices of medications help reduce the cost of healthcare and the amount of deaths that are from not having their medication.